he thought I could handle. It turns out he was a lot smarter than I was. So my number one suggestion would be just do what your coach tells you. He's a professional. He or she is a professional. So just like follow what they tell you because they have a plan for your progression, and that's how they're going to get you to the next level is by following that plan.
That was so long ago, I can't remember.
For me, it was nutrition, I think. I was always really confused with, like, am I overeating, am I undereating? Well, they're eating this, well, they're eating that. And instead of just focusing on myself and knowing, like, I need food 2 hours before, I need food as soon as I get done, and having that prepared, like, you're not just going to have, food's not just going to magically appear after your workout. You have to plan this in the morning when you pack for the day. It has to be something that you set up for yourself, and that was something I guess I really wish I would have known. I think I would have had a lot better recoveries, a lot better workouts, having planned for all the workouts.
So when I was in high school, I was convinced that warming up and cooling down took a lot of my energy and it was going to affect my race. So if you saw me before a race, it was me probably jogging for 2 minutes, doing 2 striders, and then immediately stopping and not doing anything after. So especially when you're running multiple races, you really got to make sure, do your drills. They're there for a purpose. Cool down. It's going to help you immensely for either your next race or like the day after. So just focusing on that.
It's very similar to Brett. I was that girl who finished a hard workout and decided to take a nap on the track, let my back, just nothing moving. No, I was just a mess. And I was convinced that that made me feel better. But I've had a few coaches who told me that's not what you're supposed to do. You're actually supposed to cool down. So it is really important too, especially right after a race or right after a hard workout. Maybe go take your spikes off for a second, but then keep jogging, keep moving, because I know you might hit yourself right then and you're still breathing hard, but the next day your legs will thank you so much. So you'll avoid a lot of injuries that way as well.
I was a nervous wreck in high school when I towed the line, and I would spend probably the whole day stressing out about my race. So when I got to the line, I had nothing left in that extra tank that you need to have a kick. So I wish that I would have known that, you've trained every day, you've put in the work, and it's gonna happen if you want it to happen. So I think just having confidence in your training and realizing that you love to do this. This is fun. You love to race. So yeah, nerves are huge, and I think sometimes you don't really pay attention to them as much as you should. So kind of get your mantra, whatever you have to do, listen to Beethoven, I don't know.
I'm gonna go with definitely nutrition. I wish that I knew how much good food mattered to me when I was younger, and how recovery can be taken to the next level. So thinking about what you put in your body, like I said, it's not only going to make your workout better, but it's also going to take you through postseason, and next day you're going to wake up feeling ready to do it all over again.
I'm trying to think of something like this whole time down here, but there's just so many things, that's the problem. There's I have to say the one thing that I wish I knew in high school that I know now is no, yeah. I guess yeah, you know what? Probably correct form, and focusing on the posterior chain. So, like a couple of groups we talked about a little bit. Posterior chain is your glutes, your hamstrings, a little bit adductor, etc. And distance runners have a huge tendency to be quad dominant. That means you're kind of it makes you overstride. It makes you be more prone to injuries because you're braking with every step and then going forward again. It was a big reason why I got shin splints a lot in high school. I just thought that okay, shin splints are inevitable. I'm gonna get them every single season. In the seasons, I put more spikes on, and there's like what happens, you know? And I have like major scar tissue now on the inside of my shins because I just gut through it and not work on fixing that issue. I just thought, okay, it just happens. About 3 years ago, I made a coaching change, and we really focused more on strengthening the posterior chain. And I have had shin splints in 3 years since then, not a single time. And I attribute that to strengthening my hips, my glutes, my hamstrings, and making sure that you're balanced. Your body is balanced, because anytime, like I said before, your body is one giant chain of muscles, and anytime one side is more overdeveloped than the other, it's going to cause problems. And so, I guess I just knew more about that and about the correct running form. I used to overstride a ton, like kind of like what Brett was saying. In a race, I would just like reach out, like trying to like get to the finish line, and I kind of still do that. I still battle that bad habit to this day. So I guess that's kind of the only thing I really wish I had known and worked on back then, because if you strengthen that area, you're going to be a step ahead of most distance runners. So.
I mean, everybody, the more consistent you can be every year and the more you can build up. You know, you can't just go from doing nothing to go running, 90 miles a week. Like, I'm sure Magda wasn't doing as many mileage as she is now from back when she started. So I would say, each year you want to stay consistent, add a little more to your training, or, your coaches obviously know what they're doing. So, yeah, just staying consistent, obviously staying healthy, that's half the battle. If you can stay healthy throughout a season, like, that's great. You take a little time off and then you get back at it for next season. That's definitely beneficial. So yeah, obviously the more consistent you can be and adding little things at once.
I know it's a bit counterintuitive, but a lot of people think if I take it to the next level in my training, now I'm going to get to that level and be better. And more seasons are ruined that way than are succeeded that way. You need to follow it the other way around. You need to train at a consistent level where your coach tells you to, and then you will have that breakout performance that gets you to that next level, and then your coach will bring the training up to match that level to get you to that next breakthrough. Let the performances come first, and then raise the training level. You do it the other way around, you're going to get hurt.
Yep. All of the stuff that we've given you today is stuff to help you stay injury-free so you can train consistently. So your coaches know what they're doing with the training. This stuff is just the ancillary stuff that's going to help you do that. So like the more consistently you can rope stretch and do your core, the better you're going to be able to handle the training load, the faster you're going to be able to take your training to the next level.
Okay. How do you guys decide if the pain you're feeling is something more than tightness?
Injury-wise, not when you're racing, right?
No,
The pain
injury-wise, like from training.
For me, the rule of thumb is when there's something nagging and I'm not really sure if it's a real injury, if it's tightness, if something is just off. If it gets worse with my run, that's not a good thing. That's something that I need to handle and address and go and see a specialist. If it warms up, it gets better, and it disappears with the run that I do, then I kind of refer to it, okay, I'm probably just off balance, I need to stretch more, I need to foam roll, I need to apply ice, I need to do my recovery stuff and hip stuff. So if it gets worse with your run, you need to address it immediately.
Another quick thing too, anytime you're limping, that's a bad time to run for sure. If it hurts and you can't run normally, and you're just like, whatever, I was tough through it, that's how you get further, like more injuries, because now you're favoring the right side more because the left one hurts, and now the right one's gonna be overworked, and that's gonna cause some problems. So you really want to make sure that you're not limping. And sometimes you'll like be running and think, I feel pretty good, it's not hurting that bad today. But have like a friend watch you run or something, or have your coach. But hey, coach, am I limping today? Because they'll be able to see like, wow, that she's really like kind of has a hitch in her stride, and we'll be able to say like, hey, you know what, like that's probably you want to get that addressed before you do anything harder or further. So yeah, limping, and if it doesn't get better, then yeah, it's probably a good time to see somebody about it. Questions? Yeah.
it's different for everybody, especially for different distances. You have to do more or less. Like sprinters, I'm sure, treat warm-ups differently than Magda treats her marathon warm-up. So you really have to find kind of what works for you, but typically we sort of go through the motions that we went through today. We'll do a lot of dynamic stretching, rope stretching before we do anything, actually. That's what we start with. We do rope stretching and then hop into sort of like a 10-minute jog of some sort. Not crazy fast, but not too slow, usually type of a progressive run. So you're running faster towards the end, building up that speed and building, just like, you know, getting your muscles used to moving that quickly. A lot of the drills that David and Brett taught you today, we'll start doing those. So we pretty much do what we did today almost before every workout or every race.
I would say that the biggest mistake that I used to make in high school and even in college is I would get on a race day and I'd be like so pumped that I would get away from what I normally do. You don't want to start adding things to race days that you would normally do. Like some people are like, oh, I got to eat this before instead of what you would eat normally before practice. So I say the main thing is do what you do every day in practice, you know. Your body's used to that, you know. Obviously I would, you know, focus a little more, maybe, you know, get in whatever kind of zone, it depends what kind of run you are, but make sure you just stay in what your, you know, your normal routine, and that'll get you ready for before workouts, so you know why change things just before a race. That's what I would say.
Just put techno on.
Yeah, and just to, I guess, kind of reiterate what they both were saying. Like, yeah, we do this stuff, like all these things that we show you today before our workouts and races because we practiced it like seasons and years beforehand. You know what I mean? So anytime you have something new or something that you're trying out for the first time, don't just like start doing the gallops and the V-skips you have done before just because we do them. You know what I mean? Make sure you practice them in before your workouts. Get the feel for them. If they're making you feel better and making you feel like you're more warmed up and kind of like more actively stretched and primed, then yeah, like start incorporating before your races. But definitely don't just like throw it in there before your next race, because that's you can get in trouble with that one.
The main thing is that you guys.
So what I focused on a lot was incorporating just a little bit more of that in my routine. So we call them flying 50s, and you just are getting comfortable with accelerating more so than just doing interval work. Obviously, it's a tiny supplement to your weekly routines, but you get comfortable with that turnover, and the more comfortable you get, confidence comes in. Confidence is key in the kick. I don't know, I just kind of know I'm always going to have something in the tank. I just know that last 200, no one's going to pass me. So I think confidence is huge, and supplementing just a little bit of speed work.